Where the hell are you?
I'm right behind you, Nate. Lying on the floor, stunned by another blow to the face and guts from Naughty Dog after witnessing the demonstration of Uncharted 4 yesterday at the PlayStation event. Hi fellow gamers and welcome to my breakdown and dissection of what once again when Naughty Dog managed to wow the crowds. Now the first thing is many people will miss most of what Naughty Dog showed in this demonstration, and that's not meant to sound patronising. That is simply because Naughty Dog are pushing the game on far further than most people will realise. What they showed yesterday was a step above in so many levels, on visuals, on sound design, on level design, on gameplay mechanics, on interaction and choice. They literally pushed every single thing that I thought they were going to touch, even further than I thought they would. Anyone who watched my preview video of the PlayStation event will know that I pretty much guessed what was going to be shown, in the sense of it was going to be a large foliage-filled world with lots of interaction with the world. Naughty Dog were going to stress on the interaction with that world from yourself and from other characters. The AI was a step up, and the level design and the whole process that they showed on a live demonstration. If anyone watched it streaming live, you would have also seen the huge death glitch, because they haven't even written a death animation into that level yet, just showing how early on this set piece would have been created for. And that's another thing I need to touch on. This wasn't a set piece, but I'll go through that in more detail as I break this video down. I'm not going to bore you guys too much with loads and loads of technical waffle, so I'm just going to go down and show you some of the things that they show that you may have seen and you may have missed. So let's get cracking. Where did we begin? Well, one of the first things you can see is a cinematic. Watch as Nate's neck moves. The muscle and skin tendons underneath move realistically as they would in real life. You can see his neck fold and crease as he turns his head. This is far in advance for a real-time cinematic. You can also see the adaptive tessellation on his face and nose as he turns his head. You can also see this detail on Sam's throat on his Adam's apple as he talks, and also his jawline moving underneath the skin. Look at the right hand side. You can also see the hairline merging into the doff, just like the previous E3 demo, showing the same engine traits. You can see the doff in the background and under his eye as it focuses in. Watch the detail resume on the textures under his eye with the crow's feet and the lines on his skin. This sheer detail on face and textures is sky high, and something for a real-time cinematic is stunning. You can see reflections of his face in his leather holster as he's turning his head. On the buffed part of the leather, it shows a reflection. You can also see the physics of cloth here, the back of Nate's shirt billowing in the wind as it moves straight from in-game cinematic to in-game model itself, with no visible change in level of detail of the character model. You then get a beautiful panning shot of the tessellated sea line that we stand over before Nate moves inside the caves. The texture detail, the POM effect, and also the tessellation running across this scene and throughout the whole demo is really very impressive. The sheer expanse and area to explore is stunning. Lighting is an area they seem to have spent a lot of time on. Look at the right hand side, you can see the direct shadow from the sunlight behind Nate. On the left hand side you'll see a shadow cast as he walks by from a contact. This is from an indirect light source. Again in the cave, as the light turns on, you'll see the textures light up and the whole area is affected by bounce light. This is basically global illumination. You see everything casting shadows, including rooks on the rock face and all the areas around. Watch here on the bottom right hand side as I slow it down. As the torch goes closer to the rock face, the bounce light lowers the quality and the light of the texture before it disappears. It is actually using global illumination throughout the scene. The best demonstration comes here on the right hand side. Watch as the caustic reflection from the surface of light and the torch kicks in as we step into the water. You'll see the bounce and wavery effect start. Then on the top right hand side, as we go to a green algae area, the actual light becomes green from the bounce of what it's reflecting off of. You see drips of water on the tessellated surface as we walk through, and then as we go into the cave here, you can see the light beam in the background bouncing off the rock surface and reflecting in the water. You can then see this bounce light disappear as we walk through the cave and the torch stops shining around the room. Then above you can see the tessellated rock face surface. Watch as the shadows cascade and dip in and out of the rough surface as Nate wades through. As Nate walks into this cave, look how the light hue turns green from all of the algae in the room as the light bounces around. You then see on the left hand side, watch the reflection of the bounce light. As the torch turns off, all the light is lost that's not being hit by direct sunlight or direct torchlight, along with full screen space reflection of Nate and the objects and torchlight. Here you can see the beautiful light bloom as the sunlight, and as the animation kicks in, look at Nate stomping up as the ground is uneven and more of a walk. You see this more throughout the whole demo. Here you can see as Nate climbs himself onto the peak and the actual ground is sloping away from him, he starts to stand and steady his feet, his walking being as you would walking down a hill. You can also see here the dithering effect of the foliage as it comes near the camera to keep it clear from view. This is for gameplay reasons, not technical. In the background you can see the ambient occlusion kicking in and the LOD drawing in some of the foliage as Nate gets near. But there is a dense amount of foliage in this demo, one of the best I've ever seen. The interaction with Nate through the foliage is stunning. Every little bush moves and flips out of the way as he touches it with his leg, arms. It is affected by every part of you and enemies, as you see, all catching and trailing through the scene. Even to the point where their branch catches on Nate's shoulder and then drops back after a few seconds. Absolutely stunning. This is from a game that is still a year from release. This was a demonstration most likely aimed for E3 next year, but has now basically been rushed through for this showing. Even more lighting work here with Naughty Dog's own version of PCSS, Nvidia's soft shadow technique, with the shadow getting more blurred and dithered the further away from the light source it is. You can also see here as the shadow casts across the tessellated floor and ridges as he runs, along with deformable scenery. Everything seems to be affected by bullets and physics breaking down, even to the point where rocks break down and leave chunks left over from the bullet shot. Here you can see it in the background, still affected by the doff effect from the zoom in. As the bullets hit, it breaks down into little chunks, adding even more depth and believability to the gameplay, with your actual cover being broken down if you stay there too long. You can see how physics work best here, with this tree log being hit by the grenade that gets thrown at Nate, and he has to use his best Indiana Jones impression to get out of the way. Watch as the tree explodes from the grenade and then blows down into the large log trunk, and then the rest of the bark falls into splinters as Nate swings into view, before taking the guy down Indiana Jones style in the face, grab the gun, shoot the bad guy. A stupendous, awesome moment from Uncharted if I ever saw one. It's the little touches. Here you can see the finger of Nate squeezing the trigger as he's shooting, while the muzzle flash lights up his hand and face and shows the veins in his arm. Again, just here as Nate shoots at the guy, watch as he falls through and catches the tree branches as he falls off the cliff face with his piercing death scream. The physics in play in the game are brilliant. You can see each bullet hitting the rock face and causing little puffs of smoke and particles. Everything is affected. Look here as the branch to the right hand side gets caught by a bullet, and then Nate catches the rest of it with his feet as he climbs round. Here as the guy stamps on Nate's face, as Nate pulls him round, the momentum causes him to spin out before stomping on his face and giving him a nosebleed. Again and again, Naughty Dog just show their amazing attention to detail to every little thing, from stunning animation to sound design. The bullet ricochets, creating a puff of smoke and particles which don't appear to be canned and are different each time. The grenade creates a huge explosion of flashes of light before leaving a plume of volumetric smoke and particles bouncing off the rock face as Nate climbs up. As the bad guy runs through, you get another example of great AI and also ragdoll physics as he's knocked to his death. The best example here is as Nate runs and guns at the guy hiding behind the rock face, he kicks him down the mudslide. This causes him to struggle for his life before flying off the end, leaving a trail of mud as the liquid simulation is in effect in the game throughout different areas like this. I have ran this through my frame rate analysis, and you can see here that this game is running at 30 frames per second. Now that's not surprising considering the game is a year out from release. They're not going to be seeing something this complete and solid running at 60 frames per second, but you can see that this demo never drops a beat in action. Here you can see as Nate slides down the mudslide himself and takes the guy out. Look at the mud gathered up on his back. It just adds more immersion and believability to the world. You can see the tessellated floor surface as well as the foliage. The detail and the actual fact that it doesn't drop a frame is stunning, considering, again, it is this early and it would have been rushed through to get to this demo. Here you can see the detail of the in-game character model of Nate. I've seen cutscenes with worse. Also you can see the physics on the gun strap swinging through Nate's body as he's standing there, again showing that this is a very early and rushed demonstration, and look at the quality of it. The detail of that character model in-game is absolutely stunning. Here you can see no matter how long and vast a shot and draw distance is, the game does not drop a beat at 30 FPS, and the reason they locked it to 30 was that it gives a more consistent showing than a frame rate dipping all up and down, which it probably will be at this point. You can see from gameplay wise here you've got this emitting of white light showing that a character is nearby seeing you, and then that glow around the edge. You see it here again as Nate is spotted. Also, the detail kicks in again. Watch as the guy drops the can of spray and then catches it again mid-spin before Nate knocks it out of his hand and it spins in the air on its own physics path. The Last of Us vicious combat is here and expanded. Look at the detail kick in as Nate goes into the waterfall. His hair droops and gets dishevelled from the water splashing across his face before he bangs the guy out and then pushes himself off the rock with his left arm. He kicks the guy here and then the splash of water as he punches him. The muzzle flash lights up the ground and Nate's chest and shirt before chucking the guy over, showing mud on his feet, grabbing the grenade and rolling out of the way. After Nate's shower there in the waterfall, you can see that his chest and trousers are wet now from the water, and then this dries out, which is something that was evident in the previous games, but not to the level of a waterfall causing it. The attention to detail again is Naughty Dog's trait, and they always seem to surpass themselves and go beyond and above the Call of Duty. Again, you can see in the right hand side throughout this whole scene I've kept my frame rate counter run through the whole sequence, and the game does not drop a beat throughout, keeping a solid 30, which just shows that it has a lot more left in reserve. Do not panic about the 60 FPS target. I'm sure they're still working hard and working towards it. If the game was already running at that frame rate at this point, then you might as well just release it. This is a demonstration made for this presentation. The game will be nowhere near finished and will not be this consistent throughout. This has had a small team, or even a reasonable team, working on it across the last few months to get ready for this sequence. The only time I found it drop a beat is here in this cinematic, where it literally drops one frame. That could be a bug on the render, that could be a bug in the game. For all the scenes that I tested, but this is it. It dropped from 30 to 29 for a fleeting moment. Everywhere else in the demonstration, it's a solid 30. And with 12 months to go, there is still a long time for them to get anywhere near optimization. The detail here on his boots and legs, you can see the dried on crusty mud. You can also see here as Nate slides down, he leaves a gouge in the rock face. Again, as he's stabbing his hook in, you can see the gouge there, left in from where the pick's been used. Nate shows us his diary with Elena present in the book on his ring finger. We also see that Captain Avery is mentioned in the note that he finds. This seems to be referring to John Avery, an English pirate from the 1690s, who used to sail for the Royal Navy. He then went on his own crime spree of 2 years and worked through the most profitable pirate raid in history, earning himself a nest egg of over £600,000 of jewels, diamonds and metals. Sailing in the Indian and Atlantic Oceans, he certainly was a well-travelled man, and he's rumoured to have retired himself back with his nest egg in some tropical far-off island, and this looks to be the treasure that Nate and his brother are searching for in this new game. Obviously, as always with A Thief Ends being the title, this doesn't mean much, and with Nate's brother most likely also being a thief, wherever the end comes, it could be Nate or Sam. My assumption is that this sequence is set before the E3 demo we saw, with Nate waking up in the river with a cut to his face. The cut on his arm is still present in this version as it was from the E3 demonstration, so I'm assuming he was either betrayed by his brother or left for dead in some other weird situation that we resumed from. Either or, I think that sequence immediately follows on from this one, which is very near the beginning of the game. The gameplay scene here seems to show a great diversity in stealth action, with you not having to shoot and kill every single enemy as you see them, with Nate having the choice to go back into stealth and hide and work his way through the map. The huge level design and verticality of it, along with the different weapons and the animation system and all the little touches that I've gone through, just show that Naughty Dog are certainly on form and on point with this new Uncharted Nathan Drake adventure. I myself cannot wait to get my hands on this and enjoy it for what it actually is. As always, I hope you guys and girls enjoyed this. If you did, then please hit that like and sub button, it really helps me immensely. Leave your thoughts and feedbacks below, and as always, check out my other content now and upcoming. I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of Nate's whistle-stop stunning tour of tropical countries. And you guys and girls take care, and I will see you soon on the next one.
There's no way out of this! Damn it! Here, Shit! Where are you, asshole? Spotted him! Shit! Shit! Where the hell did he go? God damn it! See ya!
You check over there. I'll search here.
Roger that. Anything?
Clear so far.
All right, let's keep looking.
Anything over there? Hello? Are you okay?
Got nothing so far. Found anything?
My side's clean.
No sign of him. Anything.
Nothing here either.
Okay. I don't think anyone saw me. So long, boys. I think I lost him. Oh, shit. Holy shit.
I nearly shot your head off.
Sam, you're okay.
Yeah, nothing I can't walk away from. It's good to see you're alive, little brother. Come on. We got a treasure to find.